But before we start off, I don't know if you have time, if you had time to watch it or to look it up yourself. But do you remember I mentioned something about in Classic Who there was a appearance of Jackie, possibly?
I didn't.
You didn't
but
watch
you
it.
got it there.
Did you hear that racket? Did you hear it? Flipping cat fights all hours of the day.
I think you'll find things quieting down now.
So you say, flipping cats. It's the owners I blame. They want the pet right, they want the animal, but do they keep it under control?
Well, we try.
So you say.
It's her.
And that is completely out of context. Like, there's no... I'm gonna have to find a remote to stop that. But there's no scene that leads up to that at all. It's just that.
It has to be her.
The Doctor's like fighting in a like a weird kind of hellscape setting
Yeah.
with the Master, and I can't remember how, but then gets like teleported back.
Yeah, back to London.
And that's when he appears there, and he's like, "Oh, home." And then that woman just rocks up, and for whatever reason, he takes ownership over the fact that he's part of the cat problem.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, he's just like, okay, yeah, cool. This rings.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
So at least in my head canon, and I'm seeing perhaps yours as well. That is
Yeah, I'm
a
happy with that.
younger Jackie.
I'm happy
Tyler.
with that being young Jackie.
Just shut up, stop talking, cease and desist, there's a good girl. Go, 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 go.
Moisturise me, moisturise me.
Welcome back to Never Ever Eat Pears. We continue to try to not.
Even though the numbers are now stacking against us, we are outnumbered.
We are outnumbered
by pairs now.
Unless we're counting the smaller pairs to only be partially pair people, therefore we're still winning.
I don't know. I think it's treacherous territory right now.
Yeah. But fortunately, they haven't left the bowl. I'm quite happy that they're confined. Maybe that's part of their I'm not going to say genetic law, but maybe they're so used to being in a fruit bowl that they can't believe a concept
escape.
where they can leave it.
Yeah.
The prison is in the mind.
Yeah, exactly.
But yes, welcome back to Never Ever Eat Pears. I am once again your host, Regan, and I'm once again joined by my wonderful co-host, Pete.
What's up?
And we are going to be tackling an episode today that is, from what we understand, almost universally hated by the Who community.
Yeah.
And it is, of course, Kill the Moon, which was written by, funny enough, another Peter.
Yeah.
Peter Harness.
Peter Harness.
So we have the setting of the moon in the year 2049.
Mm-hmm.
And we start off not there yet.
We're at Coal Hill. Aren't we?
We're at Coal Hill, yeah. And doesn't our disruptive influence just jump on?
I think she's already in the TARDIS.
She's already in the TARDIS.
By the time, the Doctor and Clara get to her, I think she's already in the TARDIS with her travel sickness pills, isn't she?
Yeah. Is it me, or does this girl look older when she's in the spacesuit? I'm not saying she's a different actress, but for whatever reason, if it's the way that she's shot, or just the way that her
Definitely
hair
looks
is different,
taller and
she
stuff,
does look,
yeah.
It's kind of the same feeling I was getting about Millie Gibson, where she was supposedly only 15 when they shot at least her first couple of episodes. And it opens with a moment that we'll see later in the episode where Clara's making a call to planet Earth about a terrible decision that they have to make.
Oh, of course, we have the jump forward bit, don't we? Yeah.
Yes. I love the fact that the Doctor once again has disassociated any kind of like familiarity with Courtney Woods to the point of where when Clara's taking umbrage with Courtney being there, he says something to the effect of, "What's a Courtney Woods?"
Yeah, it's like nothing has been retained about this girl.
No, absolutely not. And the red spacesuit is back, but this time we have three of them. When is there a canon period when the red spacesuit first turns up? It is in the Satan Pit episode, isn't
I think that's the first time we see it.
Yeah, because we see 10 again in another spacesuit, but it's slightly different. In 42...
42, yes.
It's like a solid red one.
Yeah.
And it's got a slightly different helmet. But,
Yeah, whereas this one's got the kind of yellow and blue elements, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we definitely didn't see 9 in a
No.
spacesuit. So
No,
yeah, I
it
think
was
it must
10
have been
that
Satan
time.
Pit. Yeah.
So, is it me, or at least during this series, does the TARDIS start to gravitate back to what it used to do a lot in Classic Who, where it really struggles to land in the right place?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it started to be a bit like, no, not quite. We'll go there instead. Yeah.
Which I suppose, again, with the context of the TARDIS being more sentient than we knew it, at least prior to 11's run,
Yeah.
is kind of fun that she would take the decision to materialise the TARDIS in the ship that was landing on the moon as opposed to the moon itself.
Yeah. Clearly done that for a reason, to show them what's on the ship.
Yeah. So don't we very quickly realise that this ship is packing quite a lot of heavy ordnance?
Yeah, we got nuclear bombs going on. Haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Doctor then realises that this shuttle is crewed by 3 crew members. You've got the captain and 2 soon-to-be dead.
Yeah, soon-to-be dead astronauts. Yeah.
Is it me, or is one of those astronauts... It kind of reminds me... I don't know if you've seen the... who directed the Transformers films? Michael Bay.
Michael Bay.
Have you seen Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor?
No.
So... I don't know if it's worth seeing. I don't know how historically accurate it is. A lot of people say it isn't. But there's a brilliant scene in that where... And also, obviously, quite tragic, where when the first set of bombings happens and some of the ships are sinking, there's a load of crew members grappling onto the ship as it's going down, and you can hear one of the Navy men just yell out, "I can't swim."
Oh.
And
Oh, God. That's
it's
quite heartbreaking.
moments like that where, and very similar to this, where clearly this guy wasn't vetted for space travel,
Yeah.
and clearly that individual didn't realise what they were getting into joining the Navy on a purely water-based environment.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of got that feeling.
It does feel like that, because didn't at one point the captain say that these are I don't know, second, third-rate pilots, astronauts?
Yeah, and
they're
it's
not
a second-hand ship as well.
Yes.
Third-hand ship.
Didn't she say it was made by
It was in a
put together
museum.
from a museum
Yeah.
or a ride or something?
Yeah,
'Cause
so this is the original...
people have decided not to go into space so much at this point, apparently. So yeah.
I wonder whether that then... if it was a ride, because when you make a ride, you don't... That's a replication of something like a real world piece of transport. You tend to cut corners with making it exactly accurate. Because why would you make a spacecraft for a theme park that's airtight?
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you were
planning
nefarious
to actually
things.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
But it kind of reminded me of the incident with the Lady D'Souza's red bus going through the
for the
stuff. I don't know if you did. You may have mentioned this actually. The backstory behind what happened with that bus. Because you know that they were actually shooting on set. They went to a insert desert name here.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know they were in a desert.
It wasn't a Cardiff quarry.
No.
That's all.
Yeah.
And they had to ship that bus over.
Yeah.
But whilst doing so, the bus actually went through a load of damage in the shipping container.
Oh.
It was far worse than it was in the episode. I think virtually the top story had collapsed.
Ooh.
So they had to do a really quick
Fix up.
rebuild.
Oh, that is not what you want.
No.
Arriving in a desert with a...
But I love that was kind of woven into the episode, the damage that they had.
of it,
I don't know. I'd like to think they would have had some damage on it already, because that lends less of a terrifying aspect if a bus can go through a wormhole completely unscathed.
Yeah, then you're... Yeah.
Yeah, this is a London bus. These things are barely built to go on roads, let alone
through a wormhole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they arrive on the ship, and isn't the ship just in mid crash, or it's not going for a great landing?
I don't think it's going for a good landing, is it? It's not smooth.
No. But they kind of sort of land on the moon.
Yeah.
And the doctors are immediately kind of on it that something's wrong.
Something's not right.
Something's wrong with the moon. Doesn't he say something like the moon's put on weight?
Yeah. Because the captain, I can't remember her name. That's going to bug me. But doesn't she say something like there's problems on Earth? There's
yeah,
weather crises and things
Yeah,
like that.
we'll get back to that.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's stuff to be said there. So the Doctor,
He's got his yo-yo, hasn't he?
He's got his yo-yo, yeah.
He's got his yo-yo.
and
Yes.
I love this because it reminded me instantly of a moment in the Sarah Jane Adventures when the 10th Doctor turns up. It's in the wedding of Sarah Jane. And when all the kids are like freaking out about being in like a pocket dimension, he takes out, I don't know what you call it, but it's that thing that people used to have at football matches that they like rattle around.
Yeah.
Just to shut people up. But the fact that he has that there is
Of course
just,
he does.
and the fact that Doctor has a yo-yo just to hand is...
In his spacesuit, not even in like
No,
his
not
bog
even his
standard
coat,
coat.
just in his
spacesuit.
Yeah.
He's got his yo-yo.
Oh, we'll get to like I think we'll get to talk about in the next episode like a thing that he kind of carries around
Yes.
with him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We'll get there.
We'll get there. Don't you worry.
So the captain clearly takes a leaf out of Harriet Jones's book. She feels very kind of Harriet Jones-esque.
Yeah.
Because she even talks about what do you do with aliens? You blow them up.
You blow him up. Yeah. She's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I don't think it's immediately realised what's wrong with the moon until she sends out one of the soon-to-be dead astronauts.
Yeah, I don't even think by that point. I think it comes later when they're both have died, haven't they? But there's definitely vibes of it going a bit squiffy.
Yeah, I can't remember why the first one gets sent out, and I certainly can't remember why they send him out alone.
I can't remember. I think he's investigating like a cave or something. But
Yeah,
why they've sent him on his own?
because he's soon to be dead.
Plot. Yeah, exactly. He's going out on his own because plot.
So our Courtney Woods gets to see her first corpse.
She does. Well, she's also the first woman on the moon,
Yes.
isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the whole idea of taking her to the moon was to make her special.
Oh God!
Because-
there's that point where she says like one small something for
One more-
something,
What's she say? One more thing for a
Thing,
thing,
yeah.
but another thing for a thingy
and the
thing.
captain's like so much for
Great,
history.
yeah. It's like the worst retelling of the speech ever. It's genius. But yeah, she sees her first corpse, isn't it?
Yeah,
We've got
which
the
is-
previous crew that came to figure it out.
Wasn't it a Mexican crew?
Mexican crew? Yeah, like years ago.
Yeah, it was 10 years ago, and the Doctor said, apparently, or just
Oh, you the rescue ship, didn't he? It was like,
yeah, then no one bothered. They just that was it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a commentary. Is that a commentary?
I think he says something about, are you rescuing shit? Or did anybody... I think he mentions something about it. I can't remember.
I don't know. Like the fact that they're
I can
I
imagine
don't-
it would be, because, you know, his whole shtick is about saving people, and they've just clearly left these people there for years. Yeah. I can imagine he would have said something.
Yeah. And so we send out our first soon-to-be dead. And we're kind of, for at least the shortest period of time, we're thankfully given a bit of the Cloverfield formula where you don't get to see the full scope of what this thing is that attacks this guy.
See this
But you
weird
see, like,
scuttling effect. don't
Yeah.
you?
Now, people have presumably watched the episode. If you haven't, what you're doing, why?
Yeah, why are you listening?
Like, this podcast is niche enough. Like, I love that you are watching, but please go and watch the episode and come back to us.
Yes.
But so there was a parallel that I drew, and I don't know if there is any real link, but where we've got spiders in the center of the moon, which I know isn't the main focus of this. They're like a parasite or like a
Germ.
yeah.
Certainly, yeah.
But where you've got those at the center of the moon, and then you've got the Rachnos at the center of the Earth, and they're both spiddery boys.
Yeah, they are spiddery boys.
I don't know. I just thought
Maybe that's a thing, yeah.
because I'm currently doing a rewatch. I can't remember if I talked to you about this. I'm going through. I'm not going to do all of Classic Who because I want to go outside again.
Yeah.
I'm going from Eccleston's run and going through and taking notes on all the points that, like, there would have been funny moments where Susan Twist would have had probably quite an awful fate, or something Sutek would have had to have gone through. And funny enough, only yesterday evening I finished The Runaway Bride.
Oh, brilliant.
And that was the link that I made. It's just, I'd love to see the Rachnos again. I hear that they have some Big Finish stuff.
Oh, really?
there.
Yeah.
I think it is the Rachnos Queen again.
I liked the Rachnos Queen. I thought it was interesting.
She's an amazing practical design.
Yeah, the design was phenomenal. The makeup was fantastic. Actress was superb.
Yeah.
It was just a good creature.
I think there's an interview of her somewhere out there on YouTube where she talks about practicing the voice of the Rachnos queen in like a hotel room. And that must have been fucking terrifying.
Can you imagine being in the room next door like, oh no.
Imagine if she was practicing like her screams for when like the area's being flooded. My children!
Oh, I wouldn't have slept.
No. Isn't it? I don't know why it's related to this. I think the only link is a hotel setting, but there was I think there was an interview with Jeremy Clarkson where he said something along the lines of he's been in a noisy like elevator in a hotel room, and he just yells out something to the effect of "I've killed before."
Of course he does. He's such a sod.
He is, but oh man.
Can you imagine the reaction? That would be great.
Yeah. So, I've even got two of the soon to be dead. I don't have the name for the first one, but I do have the name for the second one. It's only because there's a very tenuous link. His name's Duke.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I link that to Duke from Tracy Beaker because Duke from Tracy Beaker's in Voyage of the Damned.
Voyage of the Damned, yeah.
And he gets alien-style jump
faced, didn't he?
By the spitter. So, what do you think of the design of these spiders?
I feel like they had too many teeth.
Yeah.
The whole face was just teeth.
But didn't you get kind of like a xenomorph thing from that?
Big time.
Where it kind of had like a... Not a receding, it's the opposite of that, but where the flesh of the jaw is coming out from the actual face along with the teeth.
It was
fascinating idea.
Creepy. Very creepy, but yeah, definitely influenced.
Again, we get to this a little bit further down the line, but I think they're most scary when they're few in number. When you're seeing them swarm, they're less...
Yeah, when they're... Yeah.
And I don't know, it feels like the CGI like really drops when they're having to CGI a load of them in, but they look quite good.
Because they go for the whole like shaky camera vibe, don't they? So they don't have to be quite as perfectly done, so I think it does lose it.
Unfortunately, but I think it would have benefited perhaps from maybe just hearing the scurrying of more of them as opposed to having to see it.
Yeah,
and they definitely work better when they're in dimmer lighting.
Yes, for sure. When they're on the surface of the moon later, it is just a bit like okay, less freaky.
So the Doctor has a bit of a Matt Smith moment where he finds fluid on the moon, and that immediately means jump into bottomless
pit. Yeah. Because we've found out that they're germs at this point, haven't we? Because didn't Courtney spray them with like Dettol or something?
Because I suppose
she has that.
Well, I suppose she had Dettol on the ship from Vom.
Yes, she wanted to clean up her own vomit, didn't she?
That was it. Nice.
That's very kind, very considerate of a disruptive influence, to be honest.
Now,
but she sprays it, doesn't she, and it dies.
Now, vomit stories, because I feel like we've opened up. So, I have a friend who he didn't leave his vomit. He did clear it up. But so, long story short, we went. For those who don't know, outside of the two that are currently in this room, part of a band, and we went to go and do a recording session, and we were very kindly housed by someone who lived in the area who's also part of the band. And we went back to their place after the recording session, got very, very drunk. This individual got very drunk. We're talking like a bottle and a half of rum to themselves.
Wow.
And was very sick in the morning.
Oh.
But apparently they'd vommed on their shirt to such a way where they contained it, wrapped it up in their shirt, put it in their rucksack, and then went on a 5-hour car journey with the rest of us and said nothing until we fucking got home, the bastards.
Oh, that is awful.
I mean, thankfully we didn't smell anything somehow. I don't.
How?
Maybe my friend's boots airtight or something. I don't know.
Must have been.
But the fact, we still weren't happy to hear that.
No, that is awful.
He should have told us.
Definitely should have thrown the shirt away.
Because we knew he'd been ill, and we presumed it was just in the toilet, but
it was on his shirt.
It was on his shirt.
That's awful.
Yeah,
that is awful.
So
I mean, really skilled, to be honest. To be sick in your shirt.
But can't you just like
take it off?
Cup it? Oh no, to take it off.
Take it off.
How do you do that? Maybe you have to like roll it up and tie it.
Oh no!
Like the worst spotted dick.
No. My cousin Kaya was name drop.
Nah, that's fine. We don't have a second. There's loads of Kayas out there.
He was very sick one night, but was asleep.
Yeah.
Puked and just turned his pillow over and went back to sleep.
No.
Yeah.
So was the vom on the pillow?
Oh yeah, so he puked on his pillow, and then just turned it over and went back to sleep on the other side because he couldn't be asked to deal with it. He was like, I'll deal with that in the morning.
Admittedly, I've been in a similar state. It's been less I can't be asked and more I woke up with the vomiting and then immediately passed out.
Oh, no.
I just remember that it was a night, strange enough, with the same guy.
Of course.
Can't match drinking with him, and I realised this, like, the worst way I possibly could. I think I'd only had, like, not a Danish pastry, I should know this, Cornish pasty, because I'm from there, and just loads of Strongbow dark fruits.
Oh, no.
And so it just came up purple and I woke up in the morning, it was like in my work bag, and it was just everywhere.
Oh.
We should put.
Aren't you happy about that, listeners?
No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to in the description of the episode, I'll just put "not to be listened to while you eat."
While you eat, yeah.
It might create more intrigue than anything else. Right. So
where were we?
The moon's an egg.
Moon's an egg. Yeah, we found out that the moon's an egg, and he delivers that line in the best way.
He does it like an excited child,
like,
but someone.
The moon's an egg. He goes full on like Sean Connery. Like, it's beautiful. Yeah. It's a great line.
He is quite literally over the moon.
He really is.
The moon is an egg.
Yeah.
And so clearly of a creature that has a hatching cycle of some billion years.
Yeah.
And doesn't the mood get flipped quite quickly, because he's saying, like, obviously these like ground quakes or whatever, it's hatching.
Yeah. She literally just goes, how do I kill it?
Yeah.
If we're not even talking about it hatching yet.
No.
It is actually still in there. And she's immediately, it's that flip. And they all look at her, don't they? Like, I'm sorry, what? And then both, like, I think it's both Clara and Courtney about, but that's a baby.
Yeah.
We don't know what it is. It's possibly the only one of its kind.
Doesn't Clara
immediately said you're going to kill it.
Doesn't Clara say something quite beautiful to the effect of, you can't blame a baby for kicking?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Beautiful line.
Yeah. And so first thing that I want to talk about before we talk about what the Doctor does or doesn't do, the episode kind of talks about what would happen if there was no moon in our sky.
Yes. Yeah.
Unfortunately, within the episode, it does say we could survive the moon not being there, because all it would do is mean no tides. There's so much more.
So much bullshit.
Again, like, I've researched this for my own stuff outside of the podcast and whatnot, but without going too much into it, we get 80% of the oxygen that we breathe from the sea. And if the delicate chemistry of the sea, which is ultimately caused by its constant movement, was ever stopped, we would be immediately fucked.
Yeah.
There's
nothing. There's nothing to save us from that.
No. So not quite accurate on the we could possibly survive this. The main thing they take umbrage with is the falling of the asteroids.
Falling of the debris, yeah. Which is fair, considering, they're not marine biologists or biologists at all. No. I can kind of forgive them for writing that bit slightly poorly.
Yeah.
But
and doesn't Clara say something like, it'll be fine because it's not rock, it's eggshell?
Yes.
But clearly forgetting that this isn't like an ostrich egg or an egg that you can hold in your hand. This is still like, in comparison to a creature of that scale, that eggshell must still be quite thick.
Really thick.
The fact that they can walk on it and like
not break.
Yeah.
But she's forgetting like the simple fact that if you drop a penny off the Eiffel Tower, you could kill someone with the gravitational pull. So it's like, how again? It's a very clever character saying something very not clever.
Yeah, and we were going to talk about this. We talked a little bit about it last week, but Clara last week takes real issue with Courtney having any involvement with the TARDIS or the Doctor, and putting her at risk. She does occasionally bring it up during this episode, but it feels like her priorities have been really shifted. To the point of where the thing she's taking most umbrage with is Courtney taking pictures and posting them on Tumblr.
On Tumblr, yeah.
Doesn't the captain say something quite depressing, like
my granny had Tumblr?
Yeah. Fuck you.
But I didn't I think, if I remember rightly, Courtney asked to go home, and the Doctor said no and just sent her to the TARDIS. And then when we're having this conversation about it being a baby and hatching, she's talking via video link.
And then she says she wants to come back.
I want to come back.
Yeah.
And Clara says okay, I think. I can't remember her saying no, but she allows Courtney to come back to the midst of the danger.
Which, again, it doesn't feel like she should be wanting to keep Courtney completely out of this.
Yeah, it's going completely against all of her teaching protocols, as a teacher.
It says in the fine print, you never take your
kids to the moon.
Never allow them to decide the fate of an otherwise entirely unique species.
Yeah.
So, let's get to the Doctor. What's going on with him? All right, okay. Now, here's a real big question. Is he right?
What, to leave?
Well, maybe not to leave, but is he right to say the decision is yours?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at
Explain
all.
your working.
The amount of effort he puts into saving the Earth at every given opportunity, why right now? I know he's saying that this is like a flux point and he doesn't know what's going to happen, but that's happened multiple times before and he's intervened. Why not now?
Yeah. Is it because he knows what's going to happen? So,
but he says he doesn't.
Yeah, but he's...
Is he lying, though? Because later on in the episode, she calls him out again.
Yeah, and
he said, I genuinely didn't know. I just trusted you to make the right decision.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. It frustrates me so much.
I mean, again, it was Capaldi's Doctor being very kind of black and white about it.
He's been very autistic at this point.
Yeah. Like it's kind of like a kid being like, I can't have what I want, so you do whatever. And...
Yeah, but like I don't understand it, because at no point has he ever let one single person change his thought process or stop him from doing something that he fully believes is correct.
Yeah,
he has proven time and time again how much he loves Earth. He does not know whether this creature is going to unwillingly destroy Earth or unintentionally destroy Earth, and he is still wiping his hands clean of this shit. I don't get it. It's the thing that frustrates me about this episode, because I love the episode, I love the concept of the episode. If he had stayed and asked Earth with Clara what they want to do, I would have accepted that more. But I know that it's kind of just a means to an end to have this friction later and push that plot point home.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you think?
He's really going back to his Time Lord roots. Because the whole thing about the Time Lords, we don't interfere, we only watch. He is, for whatever reason, and I don't know why he's exclusively doing it here, because you're right, it's very jarring. He's not doing it any other point. It's very jarring from what he's done. For whatever reason, he's doing it now and only now.
Yeah.
But it is, I appreciate at least that element of it, that he says something to the effect of, the Earth's not my Earth, the Moon's not my Moon.
Yeah.
But then Clara obviously then kind of counters it with, like, I think she does it later in the episode. You walk our Earth, you breathe our air.
Yeah.
It's absolutely your Moon.
Yeah.
Which I suppose is quite nice, because
it's very accepting of her to him.
Yeah. And you can then go further with that, and different cultures and people who are coming over to different countries who are trying to make a home, and then unfortunately there are a lot of people who exist out there who believe these people should never be allowed to call the places that they're now their home.
Yeah. No, that is I like that.
Yeah, me too. I don't know, again, because I've always thought that as the Doctor, as a Time Lord, he is therefore a different creature to humans. And I know a lot of people then take umbrage with him making very Time Lord-esque decisions, but I don't.
That's fair, yeah.
Because, that's his whole race.
Yep.
I take umbrage with the fact that he's only doing it now and never does it again.
Now and never does it again and has,
If it was built up to and written well, then I'd be perfectly fine with it. But as a concept of a Time Lord, yes, I feel like that's something that most Time Lords would probably look at that situation and be like, that's your decision.
It's not,
especially because it's a thing in flux. So he doesn't have to stop anything. It's not going to cause any
it's not like it's going to cause anything
issues.
Drastic, is it? But I wonder if it's maybe to do, because this episode was written for Matt Smith's era.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, but they scrapped it and then thought we'll bring it back because of the dynamic between Capaldi and Jenna Coleman working better that way, and the way that the Doctor's relationship with her had kind of progressed.
Yeah.
Realised it was a good point at this point and brought it back. So I wonder if maybe it's, I don't know.
Okay, so
Is it something from that?
As you've been saying that, I've kind of again, this may be making excuses for poor writing, but when Capaldi, or when the 12th Doctor meets Bill, where you could argue he's far more of a well-rounded Doctor, he's more consistent, but he feels like a tired old man that's gone through all the motions of his life.
Yeah.
And this version of the 12th Doctor that we've got with Clara feels like he's going through all the motions all at once.
Yeah. He almost feels like a teenager, doesn't he, to an extent? Like, everything's firing on massive cylinders.
So what if... And again, this has never been said, so this could just be headcanon for us to then make the episode better, which in its own right probably shouldn't be something that we do, because an episode should be good because it is good.
Because it's good, yeah.
But what if this is a byproduct of his regeneration having been just... because his regeneration wasn't great.
It wasn't. Was it?
And he's just going...
It's a new cycle as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So he is just going through the motions of, like, who am I?
Yeah.
And living each iteration of that all at once. So maybe this is just one of those many iterations.
Could be. Yeah,
but again,
it's almost like a complete parallel of where David Tennant was like, I am Time Lord victorious, I can do whatever I want. It's almost a complete parallel of that by going back to the full-on Time Lord, I'm just observing route. I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's really jarring, and it is one of the main things about this episode that I really don't like.
But again, if you kind of look further into it, it's nice in a way that he's allowing Clara to make a decision for her people, but the way that he frames it,
the way he does it is awful.
Like, she pulls him up on it later. She says something to the effect of, it's like, oh, you're grown up enough to go to the shops now by yourself.
Yeah.
It's patronising. It's not
awful. Yeah, even the way he then carries on with that conversation of taking the stabilisers off your bike. The fact that she didn't slap him right there and then is like, oh, yeah. It fully deserved a slap.
Doesn't she say something to the effect of it? Do you have music in your head when you say things like that?
Yes, yeah.
That's really interesting, because you could argue that a lot of the Doctor's speeches and triumphant moments would be nothing without the music in the background. So it's not a full wall break, but it's like a kind of acknowledgement to the powerfulness of the music when he does certain things.
Definitely.
So the Doctor leaves 3 humans to make the decision about Earth, and
I think at one point, doesn't he say it's an astronaut, a school teacher, and a child? Yeah. It's like, who's better to choose?
Everyone.
Yeah, everyone better to choose.
Well, maybe,
none of these people are qualified for this decision.
Apart from the astronaut, maybe.
The astronaut, maybe, yeah, but she's a tired, bored astronaut.
Yeah, she's not...
She's not got a heart in it at all. She's, I think, there for just the job. It's a suicide mission, essentially, isn't it? So she's like...
Yeah, she's already of the mind that...
She's not coming back from this.
That's part of what makes her immediate, like, how do we kill it thing more kind of understandable, because
that's what she's come up here to do.
Yeah, she has no belief that she's coming back from this, so any kind of aftermath or any kind of guilt that she'd have to live with, she wouldn't, because in her mind she's already dead.
She's fully cut off from it. Yeah.
What do you think about the announcement that Clara makes to Earth and what she asks Earth to do?
I feel like NASA would not allow her to broadcast it all over the world.
She doesn't wait. Like, in NASA, is there a broadcast to the world button? Because she waits like half a second before she starts talking,
and it's ready. Yeah. It's ridiculous. I don't know. Okay, but like, forgetting that, it's a very good speech. But does she actually physically say what it is? Or does she just say, we've got a terrible decision to make?
She says there's a creature. She says she doesn't know what it will do when it hatches. She says she doesn't know what the aftermath will be from the moon not being there.
So she does give all the information she's got.
No, she's great about it. She gives all the information she has in that moment. Yeah. She does not hold back.
Then, fair. I think it's an odd decision to make to broadcast that.
Yeah. What kind of chaos is happening on Earth when all the lights go out?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Like,
it's not also, as simple as a town or a city not having lights.
No. Let's just flick this switch. And also, there's no
national grid for the whole country.
There is not national... Yeah, exactly. There's no worldwide broadcast. So that, half of the Earth isn't going to have heard it, necessarily. I don't know. It was just an odd decision.
Although they do that in Army of Ghosts, don't they? When the Cybermen turn up and he's like, I will speak... I don't know if he says, I'll speak to the world... the cyber controller, but he says, I will speak to humanity, and he turns up on all their TVs.
All the TVs, so yeah.
It's just an
But
easy,
I suppose that's a nice little alien technology, though, whereas has NASA got that opportunity to do?
Don't know.
Who knows?
I'm sure there's a big finish out there somewhere.
Somewhere.
A really boring one where they explain the inner workings of different protocols within UNIT or NASA or wherever. Yeah, so Clara gives them, 45 minutes? I think it is 45 minutes.
I want to say so, yeah, because what's her face is the captain. I feel really bad not knowing her name.
It's 45 minutes.
She's put a timer on the bomb, hasn't she?
Well, it's Captain McKill everything.
Captain McKill, yeah. Yeah, she's put a time, She said she's put a timer on the bomb, but you can interrupt the timer, but once you've interrupted it, then that's it. And that's it, yeah.
That's the decision. Really.
Yeah.
And Courtney and Clara look out the window and virtually
all the lights go
out. And then Courtney says something quite odd. She says, night, night.
Oh, God, yeah, she does, doesn't she?
That just seems odd. Surely she'd be, really quiet. You'd be kind of blown away by the fact that humanity as a collective have made the decision
to kill something.
Not make a light-heartedness like, oh, goodbye!
I don't know. Maybe it's just an awkward kid thing, not knowing what to say.
Maybe.
Because she is just a kid.
Yeah, she's 15.
Is that how she's supposed to be?
Yeah, she's 15.
Fair. I don't know. I say awkward things when I'm like, oh shit. So I can understand that maybe she said that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Weird bit of writing.
So.
Yeah, so the Earth has said, kill it.
Yeah. And doesn't Clara jump in at the last minute to stop the bomb?
I think it's within seconds or something.
And as she does that, the TARDIS sound is heard and TARDIS materialises. The Doctor comes out and immediately like, you and you in.
Get in, yeah, because at this point isn't the... It's literally about to hatch at this point. Yeah.
And, okay. So, I ain't a scientist.
Yep, you are.
Oh, am I? Oh, good. Am I the scientist of this podcast? Okay, well, anything that I say now is true.
It's true.
And with that, I'm going to say the first of my true statements, which is... so, I'll get to my true statement, but I understand Doctor Who. It's, at least at this point, it's still a grubby show that has a very limited budget. Why on earth, when you can't control an environment like a beach with a tide, would you go to somewhere like that to see that? You could go to a field. You could go anywhere. You just need a vast, expansive space. You don't need to go to a beach because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if it would be instant, but you do see the moon break apart, and you do see this big old fucking butterfly thing come out of it,
flapping around. Yeah,
and I'm not sure if the tides would just stop. I
genuinely don't know.
I don't know. But again, this is me in my first official scientific statement. Tides would stop, so why choose this location?
Yep, why show us this? It did not need to be there.
No.
We could have been in the middle of a town.
Yeah.
We could have been
anywhere.
Yeah, like you say, in a field, anywhere else other than a beach.
Yeah.
By a lake. If you want some water, go to a lake.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a very odd choice.
Really strange.
Did you know that when they shot the fight between the 10th Doctor and the Sycorax leader, that they shot that on a beach?
No, I didn't.
So if you rewatch that scene, because I don't know if you remember how it's shot, but it's shot like the camera's not quite on the ground, but it's shot kind of waist up.
Yeah.
And you can only really see from like the legs up of both characters, but there are certain points where you can see a little bit of sea.
Is it?
Yeah.
Amazing.
They just went to the coast and they just shot that because they just wanted like no
nice clear blue skies. Yeah.
No disruption in the sky, but
very strange.
Yeah. And I don't want to see this creature lay the egg, but I do take umbrage with the fact that it's just suddenly there.
It's just suddenly there,
suddenly gone,
and suddenly huge.
Yeah,
and there is no way an egg that size has come out of that monster.
No,
just because it anatomically is not possible. I know it's an alien, but absolutely not.
I'm assuming this creature is asexual.
I'd assume so because we didn't get a double, did we?
Well, no, but we had nothing to come along and fertilise the egg.
Yeah, exactly.
There was nothing. So I'm assuming so, unless there's a point in history where everyone on Earth agreed we're never going to talk about this big fuck-off butterfly that came and just sat on the moon for
a little bit. Unless, I don't know, this has laid a dud egg and the egg's just going to be there forever. I don't know. It's very strange.
Why does Capaldi head snap to the music?
Why does he?
You know when he's standing on the beach and then he like does a head snap, looking,
Oh,
and the music
God,
immediately.
yeah.
Why does he do that? It's so weird.
Again, drama.
Yeah, I'm going to do that one day. I'm going to be
Just gonna be
standing having a conversation, do that. Like, don't worry, guys. In my head,
there's great music.
Yeah, that's some Murray Gold going on there.
I genuinely don't know. There's no need for it. They're all looking at the moon.
Yeah.
So he's literally just looking at the empty sky.
Yeah.
For no apparent reason.
I want to see more of this creature. I'd love to see like a shot of it like leaving Earth, but from space.
Yeah.
It's a real shame that we only get to see like from
Earth's perspective.
Why does this thing also make the sound of the Kraken from Pirates in the Caribbean?
Literally, it's the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a real shame they've just kind of gone, oh yeah, the moon's an egg, and then battered a monster together and recycled some sounds. I would have loved to have seen it better.
I would love the idea that that this episode had actually been in fact written by two people. Someone wrote the first portion of this episode all the way up until the point of when Capaldi said the moon's an egg, and then like went to lunch, and someone else came and looked at it and was like, what the fuck?
Let's try and figure this out.
Yeah. And had to somehow make it work.
Yeah.
I
think that's what's so frustrating about it as an episode, is that it's such a nice premise. It's such an interesting premise, and they just kind of rushed through everything.
It tackles a load of very important topics, like do we have the right to decide life over
It's essentially an abortion story in a way.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
Which is a big thing. Big theme.
Yeah. I mean, well, it comes back, doesn't it, in season 1?
Yeah, it does. Yes.
But we'll get to that in like 5 years. Yeah. But so the Doctor tries to make it kind of nice by being like, he says something quite nice to Courtney, like, wasn't bad for, first woman on the moon.
First woman on the moon, yeah.
Like
you feel special now, kind of vibe.
Yeah, and he says, and a school teacher, and you can kind of see that Clara kind of sort of smiles, but not really.
I don't know if it's a sad smile, is it?
Yeah.
I think it's I know what I'm about to do. I'm furious, but this is going to be hard.
Does the Doctor just leave the captain on the beach?
Yeah. Yeah. I think, he's just like, off you pop.
Brilliant.
NASA's that way.
Maybe.
But she's had very little redeeming element. I know her and Clara have a moment just before the Doctor abandons her.
Yeah.
But I don't know. She's a bit of a plot point character, I think. I don't know if she's particularly well written, which is a shame, because they've done pretty well with characters so far.
Yeah, I don't like. This definitely wasn't a Waters and Mars.
No.
But had it been written like a Waters and Mars, this could have been a really, really interesting
She could have
story.
been a really powerful element to it, yeah.
Yeah, but, like, again, you could have had a moment where she decided to take her own life because she'd become so compelled at the idea, or was just so complete with the idea that she wasn't coming back from that. Maybe she decided she tied up all ends, and now coming back to life just wasn't possible.
Exactly.
For her.
Yeah. She's probably, she's had the whole journey up to the moon, thinking about it, all the prep beforehand, knowing that they're going up as a suicide mission. Yeah.
Yeah, what does the life of that woman now look like? 'Cause
very poor, I think.
imagine if she'd been like, she decided to be like one last heroic act, and the rest of the family probably didn't understand that, and she was like, oh no, I'm going to go and do this, you can't stop me. And then she turns up at their doorstep a couple of days later and like,
oops
guys,
I don't know if you looked outside, but that wasn't me.
So aren't we now at the scene in the TARDIS?
We are. We've dropped Courtney off at school.
Yep.
We are in the supply cupboard again, aren't we, with the TARDIS?
I guess so, yeah.
I think that's where we've landed.
Right, so there's a lot.
There's a lot to go on for here, isn't there? Because Doctor's very ready to just carry on with another adventure.
Yeah.
And Clara parks it, doesn't she? She's like, nah, we're having a chat.
Now, again, like I've said before, I personally don't love Clara as a companion. However, had this been her exit,
would have been perfect.
It would have been amazing.
Would have been a great exit. We've never had a companion exit like that before.
Sometimes we need to know the Doctor takes it too far and you can't come back.
You can't come back from that,
because it makes what happens in the next episode completely unwrite all of this.
Yeah, literally.
And it makes it so much less impactful. It's like it'd be like, I don't know, if I spilt my drink on someone's coat on a night out and they got a bit pissed off at me, and then we had a chat and everything was fine.
Everything was fine later
That's
on.
what it felt like, but it shouldn't feel like that. It should feel like I took all their money, I burnt their coat, I stabbed their girlfriend. And there should be a lot more there than just like, oh no, that's,
Yeah, it's fine.
Just carry on.
Yeah. But yeah.
But we'll get there. So,
but yeah, at this point, it is fiery. She is so upset.
Yeah.
And to be fair, she acts it phenomenally.
Yeah,
She catches her breath. She's like, you feel so bad.
What do you feel about the line of "I will slap you so hard that you regenerate"?
I love it. I love it, but I also feel it's very unplaced.
Yeah,
because that is funny. The scene is not funny.
No,
it's brilliant. But yeah, I don't think it was warranted at that point.
No, perhaps not. But yeah, the scene overall, she acts perfectly.
So does he, to be fair. They play it off each other really well.
Because doesn't he try... Because again, he tries to play it off like it's just a normal argument. It's like, Clara, come on.
Come on. It's all right. It's okay. He tries to calm her down to the best of his weird ability. He tries his best.
And it's
awful. Yeah.
Yeah. And doesn't she say something like... you get back in your lonely
bloody TARDIS, and you
don't
come back. Yeah, it's awful. And he just stands there. He just looks completely defeated. She walks out.
Yeah.
And that would have been a perfectly awful ending.
Yeah.
For her.
Yeah.
For that companion.
Yeah. And I still wouldn't have minded seeing what we saw at the end of this episode, where she goes to Danny, she tells him... Well, off screen, she tells him about everything, and then she says she wants Danny to kind of confirm that he was wrong in what he did and she was right in the way that she acted.
Yeah.
And then he say something like he compares it to his experience in the army.
Yeah.
And how he really loved it there, but then one day he didn't.
One day he was pushed too far.
Yeah, and he had to make that decision.
Which is exactly what he had warned Clara about beforehand, to make sure he doesn't push you too far.
It's an interesting... Again, this is a nice bit of Danny writing, and it's rare that we get this. But I love the idea of sometimes you're only wise when you yourself have had a really rubbish day.
Really bad day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
That's
very
really
much.
nice.
Because he doesn't have to tell you what's happened.
No, we
on
don't
his
need
bad
to know.
day. We just know he's had a shitty day, and that's all he
And as
needs
far
to
as
know.
I'm aware, we don't ever find out.
We never find out.
No, cool.
He's just had a bad day.
Yeah.
And it's even ambiguous to a level where we're not sure if he's talking about that specific day or if it's the day he left the army, whether that was the really bad day or he's just had a really shitty day today and is working everything out in his brain.
Courtney came back to his class and did nothing but
talk about the moon. That's why he's unfazed, because he's already heard it all from Courtney before he hears it from Clara.
Brilliant.
But no, doesn't he says something else to Clara as well, doesn't he? Like, because she says, I'm done, I'm finished with him. And he's like, no, you're not, because he's still making you angry. You need to go and talk to him.
That's another lovely thing as well, because, I mean, me, myself, I've been through a point in my life where I've been really upset at someone. Yeah. And, like, why continue to give them that amount of attention and emotional energy when you're supposedly done with them?
If you're done with them, you're done with them. Yeah.
Yeah, that should be it.
Yeah.
Now, the end shot. The end shot is Clara alone in her, presumably her apartment.
Yes.
And she walks over to the window with a glass of wine. She pulls over the curtain. Yes, but she looks at a fucking huge moon.
Huge moon.
I would have loved it had that scene ended with a distant scream of people being flooded by the tide. That is what should have been happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
That moon was catastrophic.
That was huge. And obviously, hasn't hatched yet. So that's the moon we've just seen hatch, but not yet.
Yeah.
So what is it, 2049?
Oh, yeah, because it's not... Yeah, that's the current moon, isn't it? Yeah, you're right.
So we've got, what, 30-odd years until... What year are we in Series 8?
I thought you were going to say what year are we in now.
Who knows? What? Yeah. What?
I don't know.
Gosh.
What? Maybe 2012?
No, that was a Tenant. Was that?
Well, no, they went to 2012.
But were we in 2012?
No,
I don't know.
Because
either way,
David Tennant's era was from 2005 to 2008.
8-ish.
8 and 9. So maybe...
maybe 20...
No, we're further than that, because Matt Smith.
Because Matt Smith stuff?
Yeah, so 2014,
2014 maybe?
Yeah.
So yeah, either way, they've still got like 30 plus years, haven't they, until that moon? So she is watching that moon now, knowing full well what's going to happen, and she's like, "Yeah, cool."
I feel like she should go to unit or something and just be like, guys,
just so you're aware.
Yeah, like don't do anything about it, but just so you're aware.
Because I've already sorted it out.
Yeah, that's
in the
fine,
future.
But just so you're aware, just in case, because there's probably going to be a load of like organisations that are doing end of the world prep.
Yeah,
just let them know, because so they don't have to do.
Or also just go nudge, nudge, wink, wink, scan the moon.
Yeah,
just tell unit to scan the moon. Surely they've got enough alien technology to be like, oh, there's something in that moon. I don't know.
It's a big butterfly.
Yeah.
I mean, all round, I don't think it's such a terrible episode like the Collective Who community.
Yeah, I like it as an episode. I think it's good. I just feel like there are issues.
There are.
Same with many other episodes. I don't know why it got quite the hate.
Yeah.
That it did. I think because it was like our moon. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know that
many people that are attached to the moon.
I don't know, but that's what like my friends were saying. It's like, oh no, but it's the moon. I'm like, well, yeah, it's the moon. What do you mean?
Friends have like posters of the moon. Do you go to their house and there's like a shrine of the moon?
How dare they touch the moon?
Yeah.
No, but that was like when I was speaking to people about it at the time. That was a lot of their arguments was that it's the moon. I'm like, yeah, I know it's. Yeah, I know it's the moon.
That's why it's meant to be like an impactful episode for us. Because if it was some moon on some rando planet, we probably wouldn't care.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't understand the hate for it. Like, I don't know what you're trying to argue with me here. Is that it's our moon? Yes, I know it's our moon. That's the point. It was just bizarre, but who knows?
Yeah.
I don't think it deserves the hate it gets.
No, I'd love at some point during, especially this podcast, to perhaps universally agree on an episode that is bad.
Yeah.
At least for the two of us.
I mean, I think we did, didn't we? Robots of Sherwood. What did we talk about that for like 20 minutes?
Yes, but again, it's not.
No, it wasn't a bad episode.
It's probably the worst episode in this season. Yes. So far.
Yeah, I reckon.
Like, I mean, collectively within not classic Who, but like everything from the reboot era.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if anything jumps to mind for you, because I do actually like bits of two of the most hated episodes being Fear Her and Love and Monsters.
Yeah, no, I do too. I think they're good episodes. I liked Fear Her quite a lot. I thought it was pretty decent. And
unfortunately, it didn't tackle it quite as in depth as I would have liked. But the thing around domestic abuse and things like that,
it was powerful enough for a kids show talking about it. Yeah, I thought anyway. Yeah,
there's one Doctor Who reviewer out there that considers The Idiot's Lantern to be the worst episode, the one with the wire.
Oh, I wouldn't agree to that.
No, and it's got
again. Really creepy.
Yeah, it gets a bit silly with like the whole hungry thing up the tower, and I do take up because I was talking to Donna about this that scene at the very end when I think it's Tommy the son.
Oh yeah, where he wanders off with his dad.
Yeah, so you see the scene prior to that where I don't think she's ever given a name, which is a bit rough. The wife of the household.
I don't know if she is.
No, which I suppose then pays even more homage. Maybe it's like that just shows how insignificant her presence was to the husband.
To the husband, yeah.
But she essentially kicks him out and says, like, it was never your house, it was my mum's house. Here's a suit. Here's a comically small suitcase.
Yeah, this is all your belongings in it.
And get out. And I understand what they're trying to say, but like she's just made a huge decision in a time period where it wouldn't have been acceptable to do that. Go to your mum, not to him.
Yes.
Like we can tackle that another day. Like you need to go to your mum and comfort her, make sure she's okay.
Yeah.
In this huge decision that she's made, but for whatever reason they're like, nah, just
go see your dad.
Yeah. Help him carry his tiny ass suitcase.
Very small suitcase.
But yeah, that was Kill the Moon. Hopefully a Never Ever Eat Pears. Bit of a hot take, but we kind of like it.
Kind of liked it. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
But thank you so much, Peter, once again for joining us for another episode. Once again, don't eat pears.
Never.
The look you're giving it. It's such a shame that this is just a purely audio medium.
I'm really sad you can't see the pears that I see.
Don't worry, I see them too.
That did sound a lot more creepy than I anticipated.
They're in the walls. But thank you so much for listening. If you do have any comments, because we are still currently stuck on the terrible platforms that are YouTube. We like Spotify, but YouTube.
We love YouTube.
And do drop us a comment because we'll read it out on the podcast, but do share also to your Whovian friends. And until the next time, we are heading into time and space.
Moisturize me, moisturize me.